Godzilla Minus One is the latest installment in the Godzilla franchise, directed and written by Takashi Yamazaki, and stars Ruinosuke Kamiki as a Japanese kamikaze pilot in post-World War II, having survived the war, but also survived an encounter with Godzilla, who, years after this encounter, resurfaces and begins attacking Japan. And with this, he and many other veterans and citizens band together to stop Godzilla and save Japan. Next to Kamiki are a bunch of other great supporting actors, such as Minami Hamabe, Sakura Ando, Kurenosuke Sasaki, Minataka Aoki, Yuki Yamada, Hidetake Yoshikoka, and a few others. This was a film that I had heard of, I think, around the beginning of this year, or maybe the end of last year, and I didn't have too many hopes for it, at least nothing too bad or good, because I just thought it looked okay. Especially because I'm not like the biggest Godzilla fan, because I haven't seen a bunch of the movies. I've only seen the original film from the 1950s, I believe. The American version from 1998, and then the American version from 2014. And I think also Godzilla vs. Kong counts. So, yeah, I haven't seen a lot of them, but I was excited for the most part to see this just because it was actually playing in my local theater, which was surprising for a Japanese film. But that was pretty cool, next to The Boy and the Heron, which was also playing. This was a really good movie. Backtracking to the actors, they do a phenomenal job. Um, I would say just about all of them do a fantastic job. There's not really any half-assing in the performances. I would say that my favorite, performers for the movie were Ryunosuke Kamiki, Minami Hanabe, and Kurenosuke Sasaki, with him being a pretty fun and kind of charismatic, slight comedic relief at points. I liked him. But outside of comedic relief, the film does a great job at being dramatic. I didn't expect to actually like the human portion of the film, which is a lot of the film, to be fair. But obviously it's hard to make a full film about a giant monster when that monster doesn't, have a lot of ways of expressing feeling or communicating. Especially when it's basically the bad guy. So I'm glad that they did the human stuff really well. Like, even though, there was little bits where it felt like it was taking a while, I still felt sucked into the stuff, especially with the main character who, as I said, is a kamikaze pilot, or was a kamikaze pilot. And you get to see multiple times just how much pressure was put on them because they were expected to die. Back in World War II, when they were, tasked to fly, because they were meant to fly into enemy carriers or whatever and die. So it was considered by a lot of people a dishonor to come back alive, which is unfortunate. And is one of a multitude of things shown in this movie as a big downside to Japanese culture, or at least the, traditional culture that a lot of people have stuck to in the period this film's set in, and even to certain extents nowadays. And it's very well done, and I just love the drama, and I really feel for the main character, and the stuff he's dealing with. Not only the kamikaze stuff, but the fact that he has to help raise a little girl who he helps take care of with Himabe's character in the beginning of the film, after she sets off to take care of her after being orphaned during an air raid. And it becomes this interesting thing of, kind of found family, but he is not ready for that, both because of just his own personal issues, but maybe, kind of the fact that he probably doesn't think he either needs it or deserves it. Some stuff like that. It's mostly just around the handful of characters, and that's pretty good. Like, it doesn't have like a wide ocean of characters, but they're shallow in terms of depth, which is good. Now let's get to Godzilla, like the star of the show, I guess. Not much to say, because he's not an actual talking character, so he's just destroying stuff. And it's kind of cool. Some of the action stuff is good at points. When he's destroying stuff, it's both dramatic, but tiny bit fun, I guess. It's mostly a dramatic film, so it's taking itself more seriously than some of the other Godzilla movies. But Godzilla also kind of leads into the problem I have with the movie, the slight problem, and that's the effects. Now, I'll cut the film some slack. It has a low budget. I'm pretty sure it's below 15 million. Because let's see if I can find anything. Let's see. The estimated budget is 15 million, which is a decent amount, but not a lot for a movie like this. So for what they have, I'm happy with the finished product to a degree, but to an extent it looks pretty dodgy. Sometimes there's not a lot of needed weight to Godzilla, or some of the things he's thrown around to make it more realistic feeling. And this might really upset Godzilla fans. I think the original classic Godzilla design they kept for this film kind of weighs down the scary, dramatic feeling when he's around, when you fully see him, because he's got thick thighs basically, and kind of goofy goofy eyes if you really look closely at them. And his stance is usually pretty stiff when he's walking around. It doesn't feel like he's really moving and kind of shifting. It just feels a little stiff, but for what they had, I commend them, because a lot of the other effects, for the battleships or the planes, look good, which is good, but I mean, it's kind of a small thing. The other small nitpick I do have is kind of a similar thing to Godzilla's design. Them, when they occasionally use the classic Godzilla theme, it kind of also bogs down the movie a slight bit. It kind of kills the tone a smidge. Because, again, the Godzilla fans might not like me for this, but it just doesn't fit quite right. Especially because the theme was made for, a bunch of movies from a time period where, it was just a different, vibe for movies. So with this, it doesn't quite fit. I mean, they could have made a alternate version of it that, has the same sort of tempo, but, has more of a scary, epic feel. The rest of the music for the movie, though, is pretty good. Like, some of the music at the end gave me literal chills. Like, the climax itself gave me chills, which I was surprised by, because it's been a while since a movie's done that. And in terms of the ending, I won't spoil it, but the ending, like, had a nice emotional crescendo, and then admittedly kind of got bogged down a slight bit by them teasing. Not really teasing a sequel, because this is a prequel, basically, kind of a prequel to Godzilla. And they also played the Godzilla theme again, so it's just kind of like, okay, all right. But other than that, I really enjoyed this film, and I hope you guys go see it if you haven't yet. People are praising this movie, which is pretty deserved, I'd say. And I have to commend, the writer and director, the cast, the people, working on the effects, all of it. Like, even though I was a little nitpicky with the effects, I still commend the special effects people for doing their job to the best of their capabilities with the budget they had. And honestly, I would like to see, this writer and director probably work on another Godzilla film or something else. I'm not sure. But yeah, I'd very much recommend this if you haven't seen it. And it seems like it's in most theaters, it looks like, though I don't know what a lot of your theaters are like, because the one I went to is decently local, so it doesn't play a lot of, unique stuff compared to, like, the bigger places that definitely do that. But oh well, that's just me talking. But go see it, or wait for streaming or Blu-ray, because it'll probably still be good to watch on a different screen. Like, maybe on a smaller screen the effects will be slightly less noticeable, maybe. I'm not sure. I'm gonna give Godzilla -1 an 8 out of 10. I hope you enjoyed this review for Godzilla. Maybe check out some of my other movie and TV type reviews, or any of my videos. I'd really appreciate it. I'd also appreciate it if you like, comment, and subscribe. Have a happy holiday, and take care.